Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast. And today is Monday the 16th September, I guess, 2024. So if you are from another planet, so you know,
I was gonna say
2024.
It sounds like the start of a Star Trek episode. Captain's log, start 849. But we are back shooting on a Monday.
Yeah.
We've been shooting on Tuesdays for fun lately. I'm kidding, it wasn't fun, it was obligation. But yeah, we are back to regular schedule, as it were.
Hey, I wanna start with some drama.
Some drama.
Yeah. Let me do this. Yeah.
I had no idea which one you were gonna pick for that one. That was good.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted something like bing, bing, bing. Guess what? This kid called Enwick.
I think I know what you're talking about here.
He got married.
Yeah.
I think this weekend.
He's how old?
He's just 19.
He's 19.
I'm not saying you cannot get married
early,
but I'm saying
why?
But if you are a football, any other profession that you become a star, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You kind of gotta slow down a little bit.
I agree.
You don't know who's actually there for you.
Right, exactly. And I'll even walk it back one step further. You said, he's 19. It's like, that's too early for anybody to get married. And I know that people do, and I'm not judging them based on that. But I would still tell them to their face, that's too young, I think. But I mean, like, you can obviously do whatever you want. Like, I don't really care about that. But like, I think anybody, whether you're a soon to be millionaire football star, an actor,
you gotta
and
slow
anything,
down, man.
you gotta or even if you're just working at a gas station, it doesn't matter to me. I just
she's older than him. I heard 28, 24.
I heard she was 21.
21? Okay.
Yes, so that's not bad.
I heard so many. Okay, if 21, not bad, but I feel like she's doing the whole NFL calculation, when a player is gonna be drafted.
She has an idea of what's going on in the future. Yes, I understand.
And when he's gonna be drafted, they stick around a little bit.
Just a little bit. Let me see what happens here.
Man, the comments were funny though. Yeah. This guy said, before you get married, make sure you study Hakiminology. It's very important.
Yeah.
You know that?
No.
So Hakimi got divorced.
Okay.
I think 2 years ago. But
okay.
Though his wife was probably 10 or 15 years older than him. They had kids. She was a model or something.
Yeah.
But she thought she would get half of his stuff.
Of course.
But unfortunately for her, Hakimi had all his stuff on his mother's name. So he don't own anything. She had to pay him.
That's fucking excellent. I love that. Yeah, no, not unfortunate for her. I don't think that's right anyway. I don't think that getting half of something based on
I don't think so
paperwork and obligation is reasonable.
Yeah,
no, that's just not what not what I subscribe to believe in. But that's awesome, Hakimiology.
Yeah,
and he's 19, so like it would make sense if. They're like, that's a really nice couch. You're like, yeah, my mom bought that. He's still at that stage in his life, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. Just be careful.
Goodness.
You got to imagine that Rudiger's kind of messing with him in the locker room right now because he's already kind of a jokester. So I'm sure that he's like, making some marriage jokes.
Another thing, are you excited for the U.S. fans? Pochettino is your new coach.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does that mean you actually have a shot at either finishing high in the World Cup? Does that mean you have a shot at did the US won the CONCACAF last time?
No, I think it was Mexico. I don't remember.
Does that mean you dominated?
No, not that.
Because if you look at the whole CONCACAF, the only team that's really a threat, two, Canada and Mexico.
Yeah. I think that it's a step forward. I think that it's an interesting signing. I think that if you're an American supporter, it's big news for you, and you should have a reason to feel excited about these games again. You've got to think that it's a little bit more attacking minded, a little bit more gung ho, and we've got good athletes that can play the aggressive style. At the end of I don't want to say that because it's kind of rude. I'm not going to say that. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It's not quite as because there were rumors, and that's all they were of like Jurgen Klopp coming, and that was never never going to happen. And
I don't think Jurgen Klopp wanted to do anything with football in a sense of coaching. I think he just wanted to be on the sidelines. Yeah,
and it's way too early to even start like hypothesizing what the play style is actually going to be, how long it's going to take for everybody to sort of acclimate to the new system or whatnot. I will say, some people say, I don't say this, but some people say that Pochettino is like the definition of Tottenham
Yeah, he's gonna come with
he's
no
gonna-
trophies.
He's gonna, yeah, and you know, I can see that I it's not guaranteed silverware, 100%. It's
In
not.
any kind of international competition.
Yeah,
Because at least
it's not guaranteed. And
He took Tottenham far, you know.
he didn't do a final, sure.
Yeah, so
Didn't get anything out of it though.
yeah, but at least Tottenham.
Well, so you start then like comparing yourself to Tottenham.
Because guess what? Let's say he took the US to play the final of the World Cup.
Hmm.
That's big. Even if you don't win, that's
Sure.
the biggest football or soccer accomplishment.
I think it's
in the US.
ironic. Yes, it would be the biggest accomplishment. But like, I think that there's an unintentional comparison of Tottenham to the U.S. team.
Yeah.
That the U.S. team at face value want, because they're like, yeah, Tottenham's a big club. It's like, no, they're known for not winning anything, and you aren't. You're the same way.
You're part of their history.
but you know, there's a lot of weird, deluded American national team fans that think that we are entitled to be at a certain level of kind. It's like, no.
So, what was one of you former U.S. Man? I forgot his name. He was doing the World Cup. He was on one. I think he was on NBC or Peacock. I forgot, but the two of them.
Landon Donovan was on there.
There's another guy. Donovan is the black guy.
Clint Dempsey's been on there.
Clint Dempsey and the other guy that talks too much. What's his name?
There's
He's
a guy,
older.
Alexi something. I forget his
Alexi
name.
Lalas.
Yeah.
But the thing is that this is how I look at it. They not that they don't they have or have not or don't have to feel entitled, but the US has this a lot of potential right now in terms of just talent.
Yes.
So you don't want to miss this golden generation. The one thing the Clint Dempsey and the Alexi Lalas didn't have, it's actually real football players. I'm not saying they were not real. They just, even at that time, compare and proportional to other teams.
Yeah.
It's like they were college kids, even the professionals. Most of the professionals were in the US. The football wasn't developed, and they had no plans of even developing football in a sense.
Yeah.
But nowadays, when you look at the US, because you can kind of gauge how good is the players you have.
Most of them are in Europe.
They play in top teams. Yeah. It's not like they're benching them. So the question,
or they're in some sort of like mid-table Italian side. Like they're usually in the top sides of whatever league that they're in.
The question is, what do you do with that talent at that time in that era?
And now you do have a manager that's used to coaching at that particular level.
Yes,
a Champions League, Europa League level.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, don't go in with extreme expectations.
Okay.
But I do think that it's at the same comparable level in terms of what the manager's represented and what he's achieved, and what this team hopes to achieve as well. You know, I mean, we will see. I'm interested in seeing where it goes.
Yeah. I guess. Well, hopefully I see some more improvement in a sense. Right now I will tell you what though, in the football world, Haaland is the highest performing, if I can say, striker.
Oh yeah.
And I think Barcelona plays the best football at this time because all the kids are actually young. Now, what I say that to pivot to the Premier League before we get to the other side. Arsenal played and Arsenal had a lot of trouble because when Odegaard wasn't there, Declan Rice wasn't there, and if you looked at the whole dynamic and team, it's like the middle was kind of missing. The ball to go to the next level, final third, there's no. I thought there would be some sort of an unsung hero that kind of takes over the midfield.
Yeah,
but I didn't really see that.
Yeah, no, I agree. There was definitely. I mean, you had Thomas Partey and Jorginho together. They have not started once together at the same time.
Yeah.
Since both coming to the club. There's a reason for that. Because they both play in the center of the park. They don't have the pace or the legs to really be anywhere near the outside. Trossard is not a natural midfielder. Although when I saw the lineup, I understand
why.
That's who you would choose to kind of drop back.
And it was in the Northern Derby.
Yeah.
North London Derby. This ain't no thing to joke about.
Yeah, no, and the players were not joking either. You had 7 yellow cards in the first half.
You know what's kind of that the one thing I like about the English football in a sense is like you have big games like let's say City and Arsenal or City and Liverpool, But the derbies,
Yeah.
are different stories. It don't matter if it's a fifth mid-table team or
Yeah.
in League Two. That's serious.
Yeah.
People get hurt.
I brought I brought the my grandparents. I watched the game with them, and they're learning.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather's really interested. My grandma does her best. She can't quite figure certain things out yet. And so I kind of had to like keep instilling in them because, you know, things were getting very physical. And I'm like, no, this is like by far the second biggest rivalry in the Premier League behind United and Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's like the longest standing and with the most silverware at stakes.
That's
But
it.
in terms of hatred, it possibly is neck and
Yeah.
neck with that rivalry as well. So because they're both going, whoa, that's a lot going. And like, they're American football fans first, so that even them going like, oh my God, what are they doing out there? It was a pretty rough game.
You know, if there was one thing that I would want to assist is Liverpool United, not doing the games, but just outside the stadium. Because a lot of people, especially back in the day, a lot of people would get stabbed. And die.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it is, but I know for sure it stands.
Yeah,
I'll do something to someone.
I feel like we had heard I feel like we would hear about the regular knifings if they were still occurring, and I think that also the rivalry helps when one of the two is not performing at that high of a level anymore.
Yeah,
Liverpool's still at that very high stage, and United have kind of dropped down. But even then, in the early to mid 2010s, when Liverpool were the ones that were expected to be fifth, sixth, somewhere around there before Klopp came in and rebuilt everything. The rivalries cool down, but when, you know, it's the 80s and 90s and 2000s where both of them are fighting for Champions League spots and league titles and FA Cup final, like that's when that rivalry gets really tense.
If you look at the table right now, City has 12 points and the same amount of games as I think they all at this point they have the same amount of
They're
games.
all at 4.
Arsenal 10, Newcastle 10, Liverpool 9. But the question you want to ask yourself, what will it take for Arsenal to actually win? The reason why I say Arsenal, because you support Arsenal, but also because Arsenal has been on the brink. Arsenal has been on the edge for so long, and everybody has one question. Even the ones that support Liverpool, Newcastle, all these other teams, what will it take for Arsenal to actually win it this year?
Yeah.
You think they have a chance?
Yes, I think the last 2 seasons, especially. It came down to 2 points last season, and City keep looking again. They are one of the 2 best sides in the world.
Yeah.
With Real Madrid, and both of those sides, when they're not playing their best, they're still competing for the very top prize. I mean, like that's just the way that it is. But you know, the back line for City look a little more vulnerable. Than ever before. If Ipswich Town can bag a goal within 7 minutes,
Ipswich actually,
they did. I mean, it was a 4-1 defeat, but like if Ipswich can do that, City can concede goals, and if you can concede goals, you can drop points. It's just about managing the game after the fact. And if Ipswich can do it, Arsenal can do it. You know, these things are possible, and so. Again, City are probably still the better side overall than Arsenal. But they're still not playing at full capacity. Erling Haaland might be.
He's having a great start of the season.
Right. But would you agree that, I mean, despite his excellent start, the rest of the side itself, they don't seem to quite be hitting that next level. That's not to say that they're performing poorly. But there is room within their performances right now to bag late goals or sneak in sneaky ones. But you know, I mean, they look vulnerable at times.
And I know a lot of people is going to, even, you know, Pep Guardiola once said this at the press conference, why the expectation on City is always high. But the reality is when you become in these teams where losing is sort of a myth to you in a sense, and you become known for certain things, winning the league, playing extra good football, Madrid winning titles, you know, because if you're Madrid, you do a year without winning titles, it's like something might be
no silverware somewhere. It's like what happened there.
You know, it don't matter. Even Barcelona kind of running the same problem because we expect them to be Barcelona of Messi, and they're nowhere near it. And you're like, okay, but why the expectation? There's a reason you build that. That's a reputation.
It's like,
so if you're not playing at that level, that's a problem. And City is not just playing at City's level,
right? And that it's like I understand what he's doing, and he's wanting to have this humble expression, and like because the players need to hear that sometimes as well. But asking like why all this pressure, why these expectations? The answer is simple. It's like because you made it. You like the performances that this isn't theoretical. This isn't a painter going like why are these expectations? It's like no, these are like clear cut, like because you win. You've won 4 in a row. You broke 100 points in a Premier League season. Like clubs are literally in second place, breaking records and still losing to you. So like the answer is clear. The answer is in the performances that you've given over the last 8 years or so. So I understand why he says that, but it is a very easy answer. It's like because you did it. What are you talking about?
Another thing, let's just talk a little bit about United, but not really United. Just what has gone on between United and other things. Sancho played very well. If you watched this weekend's game, it was Chelsea, Bournemouth, and now I'm starting to believe Erik ten Hag had a personal problem with Sancho. I don't think it was really a football problem. Because you can't tell me someone that went to Dortmund on loan, played very well in the Champions League and all the likes, came back to you. You send him to, I think, Chelsea.
You make up, which I think was just agreeing to leave. That's all it was.
And he plays very well there. And you look at United, they actually need a player like him. So why not try to, I wouldn't even say accommodate, why not try to make things work? Sancho's a great player.
I don't think that Sancho wanted to. I mean, like, it's when
that's why I said the problem might be personal.
Yes, and it's people take for granted, I think, because athletics are with the body. But they're with the mind as well.
That's true.
There's a lot of extra gears that you can get these players to go to if they like you, if they believe in you and you believe in them, and whether they want to or not. Sometimes they can't hit those. I'm not saying that he was unintentionally holding, like I just can't do it, coach, but I can do it for them. It's like, no, you probably were working hard enough to not get yelled at in training, not expecting to start on the weekends, and that's fine. But like, yeah, I mean, if you're out of that system, of course you can find that next gear to get to. It's not the craziest thing in the world. These athletes have so many different stages that they can perform within physically, and they know where their limitations are. And it's just about trusting them and them trusting you to unlock those other stages. But once certain relationships are blown up, I think both sides can kind of agree that it's like whether we mend this or not, I probably can't get you to that level again. You've got to be able to run through walls for me to get to that level. That's how Milner, at the age that he was at, Jordan Henderson, who was never a supreme athlete but became one for like 3 seasons because they believed in the entire system. And Sancho was never going to get that again, even if they rebuilt the relationship to just be decent with each other. It was never going to happen.
Apparently Manchester City's hearing starts today. What do you expect? Do you think that it will be actually a good move to, first of all, I don't believe there will be, I think they will win the cases, but do you think
they deserve to, or do you think that they have power to do it?
I don't think they deserve to win it, because I think they did it wrong. And if you did, especially per rules, everybody's not above the law. But I find that sometimes when money becomes precedent, people turn to be above the law. Because in this case, if City is not winning, let's say that it's relegated, that's a lot of fans you're losing. That's a lot of money you're losing. So I don't know exactly what will be the verdict. But
all these attorneys and these jurors and the judge, I want to see 24-hour access to their bank accounts. I want to see who's getting wired money and who isn't, because like
everybody's getting money.
Because I agree. I mean, like
the Saudis are giving everyone money.
do I think that anything of consequence will happen? No. Do I think that they deserve it to happen? Yes. I think that most people can agree with that.
Yes,
that they obviously totally did wrong, and other clubs would eat the cost of this. But for some reason, nothing's going to happen to them because they're kind of invulnerable. But
just let's do just a minute on this. Hypothetically, you were the one in charge, and you had to fine City, on the charges, and you had to either drop points or take points from there or really get them. Will it be a good move to really get City at this point of time? Because taking account, this city is not city of 2008. This city has a lot more fans around the world. They kind of bring fans to watch the Premier League. They generate money. They're the top team in the Premier League. Would you do it?
Yeah, I think so because it's got to show that it hurts the club and the league, and the only way that the league can preserve itself is to take these things seriously.
Yeah.
Because if you keep showing we're not going to actually discipline you because it hurts us, that doesn't help anybody. So it's like disciplining your own kid. You're like, now remember, son, this hurts me as much as it hurts you. And it's like yeah, I mean, like we need to understand that, and like they need to actually take these things seriously. Otherwise, it will keep happening. That's the thing. And they're gonna be sitting there looking like fucking morons, going, "Well, I just don't know why these teams won't play fair." It's like because you don't make them do it.
Yeah. One thing I think though is they have to get a punishment. I don't know what's the magnitude of the punishment, but at least if they could take some points from them, just showing that hey, if you do these said things, you are not above. You can get suspended. You can get relegated.
If they're going to
taken off.
Yeah, if they and that's the thing too. If they're going to, because one of the things that I had seen is that for every year that this investigation covers, they would drop points off their end result of the table. And I'm sorry, like unless you're dropping 1 point, like Arsenal might be technically like back-to-back league champions if you take more than 5 points off, which you 100% should. Yeah. If you're going to dock points off of each year, they need to be at least 5.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's like if this year was there's a punishment, I think 5 to 6. Now in second, doing 10, 12, that might be extreme. Not saying that extreme that because they don't deserve it, because they totally deserve it.
That's a lot of fucking points overall.
You look at the consensus too.
But they'll still be champions even if they dock 10 points off of some of these season performances. That's how fucking amazing they were. But it sucks for everybody, and it's one of those things like no one wins in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't even think that Arsenal wins in this situation. Like you're not going to go celebrate. You're not going to go have your championship parade now, like 2 years removed.
Yeah.
Like you're going to sit there and say, yeah, on paper we won, but I was alive and well and watching the season, and like we didn't win the season.
Hey, now just talking about big teams, let's go to Madrid. Madrid, especially right now, is in shambles. Shambles not because they doing something crazy. They will probably be relegated now. Shambles because the football is not working. Nothing is working.
Yeah. That it's Real Madrid when what are they 3-1?
Yeah.
No, they like one draw, not even a one loss.
Yeah.
But you're talking about shambles. That's where City's at too. That the unrealistic expectations. But you are right. What they're doing is not working.
Yeah.
They're still getting good results. They're still third in the table. But you're right. It's not working what they're implementing.
For me, I don't even think it's unrealistic for Madrid. The reason why I say I don't think so is because of the amount of talent you have on that field. It's like basically if you just had to grade this on a talent-wise, not on the accomplishment-wise, you have the Avengers. You have the players.
Oh, yeah.
You got Mbappe. I mean, everybody except probably for the back line. But really, to be honest, even in the back line, it's just because some of them are old.
They're not. Their issue is not conceding goals either. Look, they've scored. They've fielded 9 goals in 5 games and only conceded 2.
The issue is that the players don't work on the field.
Yes, and I told you this, last year, and I'm not asking for you to say, Julian, you were right, but if you end up saying it, I'll be cool with that. I told you that they were going to have a hard time figuring out who was playing where and who was doing what. With Vinny Jr. and Mbappe. It was never going to be this, and it should be, you are number 9, you are left wing, do your fucking jobs. It was always going to be giving someone more leeway, and it's just
I got a question.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're completely right, but
of course not. I don't think you would say that anyway.
No, half right is in the sense that I don't think Mbappe and Jr. are playing bad. I just don't think they're playing good in the sense that if you watch Junior playing, he starts there. Of course, he plays there fine. But being relational with the striker is his problem.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to cannot let the ball go when he's supposed to go and has to do all this extra stuff. And sometimes don't even pass it. Now, you look at Mbappe, because he's not getting the ball. When he gets the ball, he does the same thing. Because there's no synergy. There's no chemistry. Now, the other thing is that Mbappe, I think, during the game, his original instincts kicks in where he will see himself on the left. And it's not bad because it's bad, not bad, because sometimes when he's there, Vinicius will move. So they cannot understand the position.
Right.
They just don't understand how to play.
When we said this, I know that I said this a couple of weeks ago.
you-
They're working in reverse in terms of like, if you want these guys to have that synergy and that freedom, that creativity, they have to know what each other's instinct is.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to not give them freedom in the beginning. They have to be playing roles.
Yeah.
Once you figure out what those roles are, then you get the freedom. But you don't just bring a new player in and say, okay, well, be fluid and figure it out, because like we don't know how each other really work yet. Give them those strict roles, make them work well within those roles, and then take the bracelets off a little bit and let them kind of run around
Actually,
more. And,
I believe that
it's in reverse.
I believe that the top the three, Rodrigo does it. So, but I believe that what you're saying is supposed to had happened before, or have had happened. So Mbappe should have been, hey, you are constricted to play 9. You can't go other side. Junior, same thing. You do that for 6-8 months until you both understand how to play with each other. Then it could be.
Yeah, you're gonna spend 8 months just doing nothing but tap-ins, but shit, you're gonna have 20 goals by Christmas. So just shut up and accept it and be happy.
The
for once.
difference between you tapping in and Haaland tapping in is we can count on you to take on players. So if you can just do that, then you will understand, because Rodrigo, Valverde, they understand your role. Rodrigo didn't play, but Valverde actually plays very well.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
I think he's one of the most underrated players in the world, because I think he is one of the best in the world, and people aren't willing to admit that.
I think it's his way of playing that's not very champagne wise. So you don't really see the sparkle.
No, he does. He does a lot of thankless things.
Yes, and it's more like, because I don't see the sparkle, he cannot be the best.
But also, he is graceful.
Actually.
I watch him play sometimes, and he makes these like just little
he does
flourish
that.
moves, and you're just like, he's so wild.
For some
to watch.
reason, he's like that agent that operates in the dark. It's
Sure,
like it's like we can see how he's valuable.
Yeah,
but we can't see.
He's like, no, you know what he is? He's like the night janitor.
Oh yeah.
You come into the classroom like, this place is spotless. Who did this? And it's like 3 a.m. This guy's just going to work. Yeah.
Barcelona for now, I think, in terms of just playing good football and being efficient, and also because most of the players are young, some of them are really, I wouldn't say inexperienced, but really inexperienced in the sense they haven't seen battles. They haven't been in matchups that require energy, thinking, experience. They haven't been in the gulag, but they are playing the best football right now. And it reflects.
Oh yeah, no, they look very impressive. And
that kid Yamal, man.
Yeah, it's wild. And again, they're all very young. Except for Lewandowski.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But he's doing a great job, at least this season, of not getting in the way.
That's true.
Like,
that was his problem last season.
Yeah, and like maybe not even like a conscious way, but just like certain times that he would, reach out for things that he might have been able to get 5 years ago but can't get now. But like the whole point is to not detract and get in the way of what these guys are doing. And almost seems to have transitioned pretty well in there as well. That's and they were worried about not getting his ass either. He almost, even though he had agreed and the paperwork was done, they almost weren't able to get it finished. Get him registered in time. So you're like, okay, great.
Let's talk about the Champions League, which is still a weird format. I guess it's kicking it this week. And man,
Tomorrow.
Well,
really, when this episode drops, probably drops a good 4 or 5 hours before the first games kick off.
Yeah.
So you can listen to us babble about absolutely nothing while watching the opening day.
Yeah.
And there's 2 big matchups, really. So I'm trying to figure out, because my wife's out of town, everybody, I'm giving you some insider information. So I've got more free time. So I'm trying to watch 1 game a day from these 3 opening days. Yeah. I'm struggling to decide whether it should be AC Milan and Liverpool or Real Madrid and Stuttgart. I'm leading more toward Liverpool-Milan.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see how this...
Do you know Liverpool-Milan?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Champions League?
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest matchups.
They've encountered quite a bit. And it's Milan hosting Liverpool as well. So I'm probably watching that one instead.
Oh la la.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
I think that would make numbers.
I'll watch that one for sure.
You know the Miracle of Istanbul?
Yes, actually, yeah.
2005 Champions League.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's a great game. I think I might watch that. And if you are like me, I still don't understand this new weird format. Little summary. It's a single league table. If you're in America, you should be able to understand it a little bit easier because
true.
it's kind of like how most leagues works here. But it's a single league table. The first to the eighth, the first position to the eighth position are qualified for round of 16 based on how many numbers and no how many points.
Mm-hmm.
And the 9th to 16 are playing sort of playoff, but they call it play in round.
Yeah,
versus inferior teams that are from 17 to 24th of the table, that table. And if you're 25th to 36th, you are out, my friend.
Yep. No relegation system at all in this. And really fast, that's the one thing that I really don't like about this system. And we kind of chatted about it earlier as well. This makes the Champions League stacked, is what this does.
Yeah.
This league phase makes it very stacked.
Yeah.
But because none of those teams are trickling down to the Europa and then from Europa to Europa Conference, Europa has a very dry well of interesting clubs to watch. And it's not going to change once the league phase is over. You're not going to have a Villa, Atalanta, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Bologna, who's been playing well, a Girona. I'm thinking of teams that, if we had the old format, would be likely to hit third place in their group and go down. Leipzig, always kind of trickle down into the Europa League at times, it seems. So all those teams that would normally go down and make those matchups in the Europa League watchable, now we counted. There are only 3 teams really in the Europa League that are worth watching for the average fan, and that's Nice, United, and Spurs.
Yeah.
And until they meet, the Europa League is just not interesting. And I didn't want to talk about the Conference League at that point then. Because Chelsea's there? Great. Yeah. So it's interesting.
But the one thing that kind of a little bit like about this is the randomness of playing any team.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, one thing that I see in my eyes that will make it a really competitive too is the fact that in the old format you play home and away, but let's say you play home and you get beaten or you beat the opponent away, the opponent and you have the time to figure out new tactics on how to counter each other.
Yeah.
Because you've already played.
Yep, this is a one and done. It's over.
Sort of assumption.
We had mentioned that it looks a lot more like the NFL.
Yeah, now
system.
you're gonna be watching film.
Well, and so
determine patterns.
With the NFL, there's 32 teams, but you play 16 games. You play everybody in your division home and away, but you play a lot of random matchups, either home or away for a one-off, and whether they get the best of you or you get the best of them, like there is no way really for any sort of comeuppance after the fact. There's no adjusting for tactics for a leg 2 or a second matchup in the group stage. So that makes things like Arsenal hosting PSG incredibly interesting. And with no real way to adjust after the fact for PSG hosting them. So, and every matchup has something like that as well. Basically what it's done is it's ensured that each major club plays at least 2 other major clubs. You're not going to have a group of one where City dominates the entire group, or a group of death was 3. Yeah. Whereas now you're kind of hitting 2 to 3 major matchups in your league phase, regardless.
You know what's crazy though? In this whole weird league that is gonna kick in next week, tomorrow, is the fact that Club Brugge, for example, could qualify. And when I say that, if you think about it, sometimes big teams lose games. When they lost this, like Madrid will lose to Club Brugge or one of these small teams or whatever, because you don't replay them.
One of the early, and because it's usually one of the early home games. Yeah. Like where the smaller club is hosting the bigger club, or later where Real maybe bench a lot of guys because they're guaranteed to move on because they've already played home and away. Like it's like week 5 or week 6. Not this time. You literally can't bench or save or preserve much of anything.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to go all in out. So it gives more chance and opportunity for even big teams to be kicked out or small teams to be kicked in.
So,
So,
the only thing that I could say to challenge that is that unfortunately, because you can't bench or have a very strong, I do think that the clubs with the bigger benches might benefit from this, because it's different with Gundogan coming on as a reserve for Rodri than it is Bruges having to put someone from the B squad in with the A squad. Like, that's a massive drop off. Whereas a lot like Madrid, they have a bit more of a deeper bench to where even though they are putting in their, one of their B players, there's still the gulf of talent between them and the other club is pretty massive.
What do you think might qualify from first to 8th places? Because right now it's kind of difficult to predict.
Yeah, no, that's
in there.
I have
That's
no
another
idea.
good thing, because you really don't. I mean, you could always be safe by betting on the big team, but two, even in the normal champions, the big teams have been knocked out.
Yeah.
But with this new format, it even gives more possibility and probability for big teams to be get the F out of this table.
Yeah. I think that Madrid move on. I think that PSG move on. Although PSG might skirt in close.
But does it mean PSG might win in a sense like that?
I think that they like.
You don't meet Barcelona.
I want to see how they benefit from this format. I want to see if PSG does or does not benefit from this format. I, for some reason, feel like they're going to benefit from this. I don't know why. So that's my wild card going in there. I think that Liverpool go on, City go on, obviously.
Yeah.
Inter Milan go on. I think Dortmund can squeak in because they're just so used to Champions League football regardless.
That's kind of true.
And maybe Arsenal can get in there as well because they don't have a crazy schedule on this.
Talking about Arsenal, just for a quick 30 seconds, the concern was for teams like Arsenal too, because sometimes they don't perform well in Champions League.
Yeah.
With this format, it also gives them a high rate of failure as well as a high rate of success.
Yeah.
You just don't know what will be the scale here.
It might be that it might be that their team, like overall, maybe that like the mindset doesn't lend itself to the group stage format. Maybe the change in format kind of helps them with this league phase setup. Maybe it does feel a bit more like cup ties.
Okay.
Maybe it feels more like FA Cup because like you're not playing them again. You're not guaranteed to come back. It's like
it might even feel more like their own league in the sense that although it's home away, but every points count.
Yeah,
every points matters.
I think that when they see PSG at home, we're massive game. There is no coming back around for this.
Yeah,
I think that the emotion kind of can come out a little bit more rather than the lethargic kind of late stages of the group.
Yeah,
where 4, 5, and 6 kind of start feeling like a chore. Everything kind of feels new and fresh, and they do thrive. This squad in particular thrive under that make or break pressure. And I don't know if the Champions League facilitates that feeling for them in that group stage process. If that makes sense.
If you're old enough to remember, there was a lot of presidents. Even I forgot, is it the Milan or Juventus president? I think Berlusconi or something like that. I'm forgetting exactly. That in the 90s wanted to create a Super League and it got blocked. And recently there were teams that kind of conspired to create a Super League and it didn't work. But I'm thinking this might be a sneakier way to get close to creating a Super League.
That's all it is.
And I can see from a mile away, 5 years from now, you're going to say, man, that guy was so right. When Madrid, City, I think Arsenal did not partake because they saw them too. I think they refused based on some weird ethics. But I think they're close to. If they can get all these big teams in one league of 12, yep.
Yeah,
we are in for.
And I don't want that at all. I don't want that at all. I think that if this new shakeup in format could just be a compromise, I'm okay with that. Of like, look, this is as close as you're getting to the Super League. Please, for the love of God, stop. These countries need their domestic leagues. You don't realize how many fans you're going to lose if Chelsea, if Liverpool, if Arsenal, if fucking Real Madrid, if they start taking home games away from their fans so that they can go out to Taiwan to go play, or like Real Madrid and Juventus in New York City. That the fans in Turin and in Madrid are going to lose their mind. Like that's my game. I'm a Madrid fan my entire life. Don't take these games away from me. You don't get to do that. That'll cause more trouble than it's worth.
What I'm thinking? I'm thinking they should figure out a way. I don't know if it's gonna be a league or kind of like a bonus in game where the winning is not necessarily counted towards either if it's the Champions League or the in-league game, but it gets a little bit, probably half points. What I mean by that is if you want to export the sports in a sense and you want to play in these other various places, just kind of like some sort of, Galacticos, starship thing. You have to figure a way where I'm not taking that Madrid game home away from you.
Yeah.
But I'm making it in the sense that we're going to play there and probably play somewhere to kind of determine if the total of all the games can amount to a certain number of points. I don't know how they can do it, but they got to figure it out.
And they kind of do it with the European Cup finals.
Yeah.
There's always a preset location, regardless of who's in the final.
Yeah.
And I like that. That gives it it's a destination game. But like, the U.S. fans don't need Premier League home game. They don't need that because look, they already get enough revenue with the bullshit summer tours that they do of like, oh, it's AC Milan and Chelsea. But like, they're all fielding their C squads. And you know what? The Americans are so happy to see them there anyway. I just don't like.
But the sport is going also at a rapid speed here. And these people, they think more in terms of money.
But even but you don't realize how much is built on the backs of a lot of these fans.
That's true.
And so let's say that they even do make the Super League, fine. If you're dead set on it, fine. But I'm telling you, if Chelsea is playing Juventus, that game better be in London or Turin. Yeah. You do not take that game away from those people, because those are the ones that have even allowed you the finances to do this.
That's true.
Do not take those games and put them in new locations. If you need, make up a cup, make up a brand new just make up a bullshit like Carabao Cup thing. And just and let every single game, every single matchup be in a different city than the two teams. Do something different.
That's what I say. If they can
no
figure out
league
to get
shit.
some sort of like half thing or half point in a weird cup that takes around the world,
and everyone will know that it's a bullshit cup, but they'll still go see the games. You get the money because that's what you're interested in. You're not worried about people taking your cup seriously. So everybody gets what they want. But I'll tell you what, first and foremost, if they do that, don't go to these fucking games. It's a money grab, and like I don't.
Dang on, they're not gonna pay for them.
No. Like I've not gone to any of the summer tours. Like they, what was it in 2017?
Don't you want to go if Arsenal was to come to Nashville?
No.
Come on, Arsenal.
If they came to Nashville, sure. But like United and Tottenham came in like 2017 or 18. I didn't go to that.
Yeah, I don't care about them. But I'm just saying, you as a fan of that Arsenal, it might not be the game you want to watch in a sense, but at least you get to watch Arsenal.
I see like that's I still don't. I need to know who they're playing. I need to know who they're playing.
What if it was like Arsenal Madrid?
One, they would not waste time with that in Nashville, Tennessee. But let's say that they did. Sure, I would go to that. But you know for a fact that it's going to be all the youth squad, and that's not a bad. That's not a bad thing because they have to play. But like I don't want to give my money to see the youth squad play with respect.
That's probably why they also tried the whole Super League, because they want the best players on the field
at all times.
You ever watch this show called Galacticos Football?
Mm-mm.
Mine, it's not really a show. It's actually an anime. It was really popular back in the day, and it was about football. And people that really want to get into football and that are into anime in the US that don't understand, I kid you not, go watch Galacticos and there's another Japanese show that I talked to you about. Those two you kind of understand, but Galacticos was really fun. It was the best players of galaxies meeting.
Interesting. Yeah. Send me a link to that later.
Yeah, it was so fun. So that's what I think. Well, like I said, if you don't want to see our face, go on Spotify.
That's funny.
Yeah. Subscribe. Listen to us at least. But if you want to see our faces, go on YouTube, go on TikTok, go on Instagram. Provided I haven't been posting a lot on Instagram, but
shame on you.
I gotta be better on that. The past few weeks have been a little bit hectic, but go ahead.
But guys, we're on the
TikTok. Yeah, we're on there. At least that
we're on the Spotify.
So go on there, subscribe, watch us, support us.
You know what? Give them a round of applause for subscribing.
Yeah.
Give them that right now.
Yeah.
Good job.
Definitely.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, get us far. We are counting on you.
Carry us up the hill.
Well,
fireman carry.
Bye.
Goodbye.